Hello, welcome to another section of CATV Yoga. Yoga to
Hi,
go.
this is Mike Schuman of Vermont VA Federal Credit Union, and this is Show Me the Money.
Well, hello, this is Linda Carbonneau from Walking the Life TV show.
2015 was filled with stories, ideas, perspectives, opinions, and new collaborations. At CATV, we listen, capture, and share these with the community in an effort to add to the work of other community-building organizations right here in the Upper Valley. Simply put, CATV could not build such a vibrant and growing community without your continuing contribution. When you voice your perspective, share your opinions and artistic visions, you are building community. When you pick up a camera and listen to someone share their story, you are building community. At CATV, media serves as our platform for connection, transparency, and access. Whether you are tuning into Channel 8 and 10 on Comcast, VTEL, or streaming on Vimeo or video on demand, you can be sure to find vital public information and entertainment. Let's face it, with so much going on in the Upper Valley, it's impossible to attend all the meetings and events, and that's where we come in. Your community access television station, bringing you the stories that affect you and your community, helping you stay informed, connected, and amused.
Well, anyway, the one thing I want you to remember that all of this that CATV does, guess what? It's free! CATV is free. Now, where are you going to find that?
Welcome to CATV's 23rd Annual Board Meeting. Hi, my name is Kira Cherif-Wilson, and I will be introducing the staff and crew to you today. Please stand when your name is called. Bob Franzoni. Sophie Bodner. In the control room, Emily Potts. Brianna Spangler. Also in the control room, Kirsten Arnson Tronzo. Behind camera, Dylan Walsh. And for crew, Allegra Harvard. Claire Swanson. And Jacob Ray. Now for Sophia, who will introduce the board members.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'll introduce the board of directors. Please stand up when I call your name. Rob Greer. Frank Jones. Margaret Jacobs. Paul Boucher. Linda Carbonneau. Signa Taylor. Peggy Allen. And Barbara Krenitz.
Cherif Wilson, an 8th grader at Heartland Elementary School. I am involved in CATV's video production class, and our current project is a lip dub.
Kira, what is a lip dub?
A lip dub is a music video shot in one shot with no editing. It involves all the 8th graders at Heartland, and we hope it becomes a tradition at the school.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm a 7th grader at Heartland Elementary School. I am working on a project that is a video yearbook for the graduating 8th grade class that Kira is in.
What started off to be just a board meeting has now turned into an award ceremony along with the traditional board meeting idea.
Yes, so tonight we are going to do something a little bit different. We are going to talk to our government producers, our videographers, and so on and so forth. And let's talk about a little bit of history of CATV. It was made in 1993. It started in the basement of Hanover High School.
Wow, I didn't know that. It was started in the Dresden School District of Hanover High School, too.
It was started in 2010, 2000, and Hartford and Heartland then joined CATV family.
In 2010, Lebanon also joined the CATV community.
What is public access TV?
Public access TV airs on channels 8 and 10 on Comcast, and 1069 and 1070 on Vermont Television Network. So, can you explain to the public what is public access TV?
Public access TV is basically just a free speech channel.
Interesting. So, on channel 10, we, CATV, broadcast 3,726 shows, and on channel 8, 5,600 overall total broadcasts. Now, Sophia and Bob, introducing Sophia and Bob.
Thank you, Kira. Okay. I'm with Bob Franzoni, who is the executive producer of CATV. Bob, can you tell us a little about what's going to happen tonight?
Well, tonight is going to be a special night for the producers. We want to celebrate you as people who work hard, either volunteers, government videographers, or in educational institutions. We want to treat you to something special, and this is your night.
Why do you think it's important to, introduce the producers?
I think because they work really hard. I mean, in the government videographers, they do transparency. They talk about the government meetings. In the volunteers, they do things such as, Leah Torrey does, or, Roz Finn does with the Humane Society, Linda Carmelo does with her shows, and many others. In education institution, nothing more than a perfect example of Heartland Elementary School. You two and Sydney out there and Jacob here, who work very hard on doing productions and work very hard, and also two of our camera people behind there, Allegra and Claire, who also work very hard in production film slams.
Thank you. And now to Kira.
I am with Robert Gear. Mr. Gear is the IT person at Hanover High School and chair of the board of directors at CATV. Mr. Gear, this is your last year as the board chair because of term limits. Can you reflect back over your years as the board chair of CATV and what CATV has meant to you and the community?
Well, when I first came to the board, it was a smaller board. Lebanon wasn't a part. So we saw the addition of Lebanon coverage to the channel. And in general, it's been just a steady growth of community participation. And it's been a pleasure to be a part of that happening. And very glad to have had my chance to serve.
Wow, so it seems like you really enjoyed your time here. But moving forward, what do you see as the future of public access TV?
What we would like to see is greater involvement with the community, and that people use CATV to present their own vision of what the Upper Valley is, and the problems that we may have, the great things that we have here for people to share, but be able to present it to a wider audience, to a television audience, internet audience.
Thank you. And if you had one word to say about CATV, what would it be?
That's a very hard question. Community, I think.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gear. Now back to Sophia.
Thank you, Kira. I'm here with Margaret Jacobs, and she's the Secretary of Board of Directors at Ava Gallery. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and the programs you produce?
At Ava or
Yes.
for here? So I'm the exhibition coordinator at Ava Gallery, and what I do for CATV is I video record the artist talks and any kind of programs that we have related to that.
Why do you think that producing programs for CATV is important?
Well, like the video said, you know, there's so much stuff going on in the Upper Valley, and you really can't get to everything, and so it's important to have, you know, lots of different people who are interested in lots of different things and areas to record so that the public can, you know, watch whatever they want whenever they want.
If you could describe CATV in one word, what would it be?
I think inclusive.
Thank you. And now back to Kira.
CATV first met this gentleman when working with his father on shows around the Upper Valley. He even produced a dating game show, but the contestants were already married. Go figure. This person is also on the CATV Board of Directors, and he is a constant film slammer. I would like to introduce Frank Jones, who is our current vice chair. Frank, you like to enter film slams. Why do you do that?
Well, I do enter Film Slam because I studied film when I was in LA, and Bob Franzoni, the executive director, is always encouraging me to make movies. So Bob really inspires me to do it. And sometimes I win, and most of the time I lose.
Could you explain what a film slam is to the public?
Film Slam is when a bunch of people in the community who are filmmakers, doesn't have to be filmmakers, come in, they join our team, and then we make movies usually within 48 hours. So you have to write a story, beginning, middle, and end, and then you have to shoot it, and then you have to edit it, and then you submit it to Bob in his office, but on time, and then usually a week later we have the show.
Wow. So what are some of your recommendations for people entering film slams at CATV?
Well, you have to know somebody who knows at least how to hold the camera. Somebody who knows how to use the camera, that's all you need. And the rest, the staff here at CATV will help you how to edit. We have the best here, Apple Final Cut Pro.
Wow. So if you had one word to describe CATV, what would that be?
I would say, like Bob said, Bob Gear, our chairman, he said that community. We want the community to come and join us, be involved with us.
Well, thank you very much. And here is a flower.
Thank you so much.
Now back to Sophia and Linda.
Thank you, Kira. I'm here with Linda Carbonell. Who would have thought that you'd be here for 8 years? Can you tell us a little bit about what CATV has meant to you?
CATV has given me an opportunity to use my voice to advocate for change, fight stigmas, and be able to give a voice to people with disabilities of any kind, and also create a fun environment for me to learn. I'm very grateful to CATV for what they've done for me. This is, I've done 600 shows now, so being a part of CATV is like a family here for me, and I just look forward to continuing to growing here.
Why would you recommend for citizens to produce programs on CATV?
I would say that it's a good way to introduce the audience to what is important to you, and when we look at what is important to us, we can often see how important it is to other people. So if we step up and we tell our stories and then get inspiration to maybe be able to share that and have others share their story, it's just like a total surround thing. It just comes back to, you know, back and forth, yeah.
If you could describe CATV in one word, what would it be?
I'd have to say free!
And we have a flower for you. I also forgot to give a flower to Margaret Jacobs, so I'll do that. Thank you. And now back to Kira. Or me. I have Barbara Krenitz. Is that right? Yes. Hi. Could you come up? Yes. Thank you. Barbara has produced many shows for CATV, interviewing performers around the Upper Valley. Barbara is also the board of directors at CATV. Why do you think it's important to produce the programs Have You Heard?
Well, Have You Heard is my music show, and it started because I moved up here 5 years ago from New York, and I missed hearing some of the performers who play in the New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts area, but don't come up here. So I thought if I did a music show and I involved them in it, perhaps they would get more of an audience up here, and then they would come up here and play, and I could see them, and other people could see them as well.
You also produce programs for the Lebanon Historical Society. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I went to one of their meetings because I like history, and I wanted to find out more about the history of this area in which I'm now living. And we all thought it would be a great idea to do a history-themed show with them, so that I and other people around in the Upper Valley could learn more about the history of Lebanon.
Thank you. And if you could describe CATV in one word, what would it be?
Oh, now I'm almost at the end, and everyone else has already said well, see, my first thought would have been community also, but everyone else said that. But I'll go with community too.
And now Barbara has a clip for us.
Ain't no mystery how this town was born. It started with a couple farmers, then a mill and the general store. Ever since the work went south, and those wheels don't run.
How did you get from evolutionary biology to music?
Oh, they're the same thing, actually. Well, if not the same thing, they require the same skills. I find that this is a question that I've gotten a lot over the years, and I find that there's some assumptions, based. There's assumptions on evolutionary biology and on music in that question.
We have a special captain here. Here is Captain Bob Valenke. How did you become interested in putting programming on CATV?
Well, it was just that I had nothing better to do, actually. No, I'm retired. I had a pretty active life. And right now, my wife and I are living at Kendall. And I became restless. I wanted to do something. And it happened that we have a particularly talented dog. Her name is Millie, and she seems to have mastered the English language, at least in terms of understanding the English language. You can converse with her. She can't speak back, but she can understand very well. So I figured that, well, I tried at home reading stories to her, and she would listen and sort of nod her head, and it was all very well. So I just popped in here and I said, you want not a talking dog program, but a program of a dog who likes to be talked to. So we started reading stories to her, and she listened, and it was good. That was the whole thing. It was great fun for her and for me. Her name is Millie.
You obviously have a very special guest on your show. So can you tell us how Millie makes a difference to your show and makes it better?
Well, it's not that she makes it better. She really is the whole show. The whole thing is kind of silly. I mean, I thought it would completely bomb, but we've gotten actually a fair amount of good feedback, and it's just fun. I mean, it's just like being in our living room, and I mean, it's a little nuts, but we talk to the dog all the time, and she listens, and that's the way it is. She's not trained. We just sort of explain things to her.
Great.
Well, before we show a clip of Millie, if you could describe CATV in one word, what would that be?
I would use the word active. Could I explain that just a little bit? The problem with television is that it makes, it has a way of making people very passive. You just sort of, kind of sitting on your couch and whatever, and you're just watching it, and you zombie out, you zone out. And what's very exciting to me about Community Action TV is that there really is a very active interaction between the viewer and the producer, and they're often the same person. They're playing different roles back and forth. So it's a real conversation, and I must say I'm very impressed.
Wow, thank you. Here's a clip of Bob Valenke.
Hey, hello there, boys and girls and boys out there in TV land. This is, I believe, the 5th show of Dog Tales, starring Millie the Wonder Dog, and here she is, Millie the Wonder Dog. Originally, Millie and I would choose books from the local libraries around here, from the Howe Library and the Lebanon Public Library. But after a while, I got thinking that, gee, I could write books too. So I think 3 months ago, I tried writing a story about Millie, and it seemed to go okay.
I'm here. I'm here with Mike Schumann, who is an award-winning CATV for CATV. Can you tell us a little about what you do for the producing?
Absolutely. First of all, following Millie is going to be very difficult. What I do is I do a show called Show Me the Money, which I did steal from the movie Jerry Maguire, that title. Hopefully we don't have copyright issues. It's essentially a personal finance show.
Thank you. So your sister also does public access TV. Can you tell us where she does that?
Absolutely. My sister actually got me into public access TV and made me contribute to them every year because I want it to be sustained for her, and also I think it's very important that public access be sustained and thrive. And she presently is the executive director at public access TV station in Falmouth, Mass. But she's done this in a few different places, Western Massachusetts and actually Southern Vermont. She was in Brattleboro for a few years. So she's the inspiration for me actually doing the show as well.
And if you could describe CATV in one word, what would that be?
Informational.
Thank you. And we have a flower for you.
It's like The Bachelor.
Thank you. And can Roz Finn come up too? Here we have Roz Finn, our first producers, who has a distinctive British accent. And she still does broadcasts from the Humane Society talking about animals for adoption. Why do you think it is important to talk about animals up for adoption?
Well, because most of them are homeless. Some of them have come from cruel backgrounds. And I just think that it's lovely for people to see what's there and to hear about what goes on in the animal world. And it really helps the Humane Society to move their animals on. Yes.
What do you think are some of your funniest shows that you've produced?
Oh boy, well, we've had some clangers, I'll tell you, but I think they're usually edited out. Actually, I also have to mention here my camera person, Mary Selman, who's very quietly sitting back there, but I could not do the show without her, and she's wonderful. She keeps very, very calm. even when we have rats running up and down and, in my show. Yes.
If you could describe CATV in one word, what would it be?
Oh boy, well, I'm not sure I could describe it in one. I've known CATV for something like 20 years, I think. It was down in the very, very basement of the Hanover High School. I'm sure a lot of you still remember that. So I think I would say that I can't do it in one word. I think that they do a wonderful job telling the public what's going on around the community, and I am extremely grateful to them that Mary and I have the chance to put these animals forward and give people information, and hope, please everybody, that you will go and visit the Upper Valley Humane Society and come back with a four-legged, beloved animal. Thank you.
And we have a clip from Roz, but before we'd like to give you a flower.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now to the clip.
Hello and welcome once again to the Upper Valley Humane Society. I'm sorry it's been a long time since we were here last, but we come back full of vim and gusto and vigour, and we're all ready to show you some wonderful animals which you'll find you just can't do without. So please have your pen and pencil ready. You can take down the name and our telephone number, which will be on the screen from time to time, and please come and visit us. So, and this is Tiger, by the way, who you're just about to be introduced to. Wonderful cat, and Caitlin's going to tell you all about him. So this is Tiger, still we're talking about, and gorgeous guy. To start with, he's very handsome, and I'm just going to say a few things about him, and then Caitlin. Caitlin's the one in the purple, by the way, and this is Tiger.
We have a father and daughter team here who are consistent film slam contestants. CATV can always count on them to enter contests. Brian, what are your feelings about CATV and film slams?
CATV is wonderful. When we first started doing this, we had a little bit to be desired in the quality of our programming, but they were very helpful, and anything we needed, they just say, hey, here you go. Equipment, show us how to use it, and they let us keep coming back, so we're very grateful.
And what is important about film slams to you?
We have a great time. We do it kind of as a family with friends, and we get to win once in a while.
And if you could describe CATV in one word, what would that be?
Very easy, fun.
Well, thank you. Now over to Sophia.
Is this man to our right your relative?
Yes, he is.
So he's your father?
Yes.
Has he been an inspiration to you?
Yes, he really has. I hadn't really thought about making films until when I was in high school. He started doing some film with Burlington College, and then when we moved down here, he got really interested in doing film slams through CATV, and the rest is history.
What have you learned about producing difficult production?
I've learned that time management is really important, that even if you have 3 weeks to make a video, you may end up only doing it in the last 48 hours, and that there's always something new to learn.
Thank you, and I think you guys have a clip, or maybe not, but thank you, and we'd like to give you a flower.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the government portion of CATV. I have with me Vincent Moore, who's a veteran of recording government meetings. Why do you feel it is important for CATV to record government meetings?
Revenue from towns, but aside from that, I think it's important because people get to know what's going on there. Like, anyone could look at the minutes, or the minutes and agendas could be late or something. Anyone could look at them and not really get much of a sense of what really went down, because people are typing it on the fly, and then, someone might change it. But if we record it, then people know exactly what went on, like what tones people had, if someone said something that didn't get quite recorded down in the minutes, and it really helps with accountability in that case.
Yeah, so why do you think government transparency is important?
I think it's very important because these are the people that we elect and eventually that we re-elect. And, it's all fine and dandy to have a campaign and say you're going to do all these kinds of things, but then, with what we provide here at CATV, the videos and such, and, it shows exactly what they're doing. We see what people vote on, we see what their tones are, how they, what their motivations are, how they conduct themselves with other people, and, yeah, it's just, as I said, it's all about accountability, and people know who's running the show, who's in charge.
What is the most interesting meeting you have recorded?
Well, I remember the most interesting meeting I recorded was around when I first began. This was at a Hanover meeting, and someone went there who I've grown to respect a lot. He had a very strong opinion on it, so strong that some people were relatively scared, and they had to have police be there. And so I was roughly around your age. I'm sitting there, at the station, and then I see this guy, and he starts, we start talking. He gets really passionate about everything, and then when he leaves, the police officer who's sitting next to me, I'm like, oh, it's police officer, town meeting, says he's running out of the building. And then the next time, there's cops there and things like that, and it was, but I learned that, not all of the passion is in DC and things like that, or in Concord. That some people are very passionate about what goes on in their community, and I respected that a lot.
Wow. So if you had one word to describe CATV, what would that be?
Accessible.
Well, thank you. Oh, and here's your flower. Now over to Sophia.
Thank you, Kira. I am here with Brian Cook, who came to CATV to produce at Norwich one-room schoolhouses. Brian, why did you choose CATV to produce this fundraiser?
Well, I felt that I had a small story to tell. It was a story about the history of Norwich's one-room schoolhouses, and I just didn't think that there would be a big audience for it, but I was aware that CATV was open to all kinds of stories, so I approached Bob Franzoni with the idea, and Bob said, hey, I have an idea, and he hooked us up with an organization called Historic New England, and CATV and Historic New England together just put together this incredible half-hour documentary about the history of Norwich's one-room schoolhouses that was far bigger, far more beautiful than anything I could have possibly imagined.
Can you tell us the production you made with CATV?
Sure. It was called Back to School: Lessons from Norwich's One-Room Schoolhouses.
How did the project work for you?
So far, fantastically. We had a premiere screening at the Wilder Center last June, and the room was packed. The response was really enthusiastic. Ultimately, the goal was to just let people know about the two surviving one-room schoolhouses that are still in Norwich. One in particular that I'm involved with is called Root, and just sort of help raise awareness and ultimately enthusiasm for their preservation. And so far, so good. I think we're really on track to save both of these buildings for the long run.
If you could describe CATV in one word, what would it be?
I would say genuine. I think that there is just sort of a growing audience for information that is, unbiased and unfiltered, and I think that CATV provides that to this community.
And Brian has a clip also. And we would like to
Oh, thank you.
Vermont is proud to be, I think, the first state to include public education in its constitution way back in 1777. And Norwich actually was one of the earliest towns to really enact that and create school districts as early as 1781, I think.
The district was the unit of organization. All these towns were divided into districts by the end of the Civil War. If a town was roughly 40 square miles, a district would average about 2 square miles. And they all were created for very practical, functional purposes to allow people who lived in the community to be able to walk to school. The district school, or your one-room school, was the major community building for neighborhood. At a time in an agricultural society when neighborhood relations were of central importance. If you had a barn raising, if you wanted to have a dance, you wanted to celebrate something, you had a wedding, it was the neighborhood, not the town.
I'm here with James Gravac, who's the IT specialist for the town of Hartford. Mr. Gravac, the town of Hartford and CATV recently worked together to help build a meeting room for government meetings. How did this collaboration work out between CATV and the town of Hartford, excuse me?
It was absolutely fantastic. Going into it, I am an IT specialist, not an AV specialist. So having CATV available, anytime I picked up the phone for advice and technical advice on the AV aspects of our renovation of the meeting room was priceless.
So was this an improvement then for the previous situation?
Yes, I cannot stress enough what an improvement this has been.
Well, thank you. And if you had one word to describe CATV, what would that be?
For me, that would be dedicated, because from the government side of things, no matter when we have a meeting or where we have a meeting or how often we have a meeting or even the conditions of that meeting, CATV is always there and somehow manages to produce a great product.
Well, thank you. And here's your flower.
Thank you very much.
The next producer has found the word peppy. I'm with Diane Estes, who is the communications director at the SAU 88 in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Diane, can you tell us how you use the services of CATV and why?
Yeah, absolutely. The Lebanon School District uses the services to get the word out on all the great things that are going on in our schools, to talk about maybe some of the budget and some of what the great achievements that the students are doing.
Can you tell us how you got the word out with CATV?
Yes, actually, I think CATV was pivotal when we were trying to build a new school. And that was actually my first experience with CATV, and we got to talk about all of the details of the school. So I felt that we really were able to reach a lot more people than just talking one-on-one.
If you could describe CATV in one word, what would it be?
For me and the school district, it would definitely be partnership.
Thank you. And you have a clip, so let's see that.
Hi, this is Diane Estes. Welcome to Community Chat. I'm with the Lebanon School District, and I'm the School and Community Relations Director. And I'm glad to have you back in the studio with us today because we have a couple of guests talking a little bit more about the extended learning opportunities that are going on over at Lebanon High School. And you may have met Joy Gobin before when she was in the studio. And if you haven't, you should definitely check out some of our videotapes that we have that are available on the CAT website. But without further ado, let me introduce our guests today. Today I have Miss Joy Gobin. And Joy, what is your title over at Lebanon High School?
I'm the Extended Learning Opportunities Coordinator.
Fantastic. And our young man with us today?
I'm Jake Roberts, and I am a junior at Lebanon High School.
Excellent. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what an extended learning opportunity is at Lebanon High School and what that looks like.
I'm here with Sydney Reed, who is a Heartland Elementary School student, an 8th grader. And you were involved in a lot of the video production classes through CATV. Could you tell us some highlights through that program?
Yes, I'm a part of CATV at Heartland Elementary School. As you said, I'm an 8th grader. This is my last year at CATV. I have had such a wonderful experience. So many highlights for me are working with my best friends and creating these wondrous videos that I had no idea that I could create.
Wow, so could you give us some examples of those shows that you've done?
Yes, I've done contests before, which CATV has encouraged me to do to broaden my experience. We have done other things such as music videos and things of the sorts.
Wow, and what has been your favorite production?
Oh, definitely working on those competitions. I'm a bit of a competitive person, so that definitely, I like that element.
Wow. So if you had to choose one word to describe CATV, what would that be?
It would definitely be memories. I've made a lot of memories here at CATV. Moving on next year to high school, I hope to still participate in CATV, and these memories I will carry on forever.
Well, thank you so much, Sydney, and here's your flower.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm here with Signa Taylor, who is the board of directors of White River Film Festival. What is the importance of the collaboration that CATV and White River Film Festival have?
CATV and White River Indie Film Festival, which we call RIF, we together partner on putting on the Film Slam. And it's going to actually, next Thursday is our mandatory meeting. So if you want to participate in the Film Slam, it's the kickoff meeting this coming Thursday. And I think it's just a great way that RIF can partner with folks in the community and with CATV to give people an opportunity and a chance to make great movies.
What do you think the importance of CATV for the youth of the Upper Valley is?
Ooh, great question. I think CATV, so I have kids, and sports, I think, are a really big part of their lives, and I think sports are a really big part of Upper Valley life, and I love that CATV offers other opportunities, because as I'm a filmmaker, I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I love that CATV gives kids a place where they can make movies, where they can find community of other kids making movies, and you know, it's certainly my dream, and kids can also pursue their dreams here too.
Thank you.
Is Megan Oliver here? Hello. So you are the owner of the Norwich Bookstore. So how does CATV recording the bookstore talks help the artists get the stories access to the public?
Well, it's really a great way for authors who come from all over the country, really, and speak at our store to connect with their fans who might be far away, and also to connect to fans who sometimes can't make it to our events, either for health reasons or weather.
So do you think CATV is a valuable vehicle for artists in the community?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's a great way to connect with people within their own genre of writing. We have a lot of poets who come, and they can connect to others within their community. Yeah.
And if you had to describe CATV in one word, what would that be?
I would say a hyphenated word. I'd say open-minded. I love the variety of programming that is offered and the variety of ideas that are represented on the station.
Well, thank you, Megan. And here's your flower.
Thank you so much.
Charter North is the newly appointed Poet Laureate of Vermont, which is a pretty amazing honor. He grew up in Virginia. He majored in religion at Lynchburg College, and he went on to earn his Master's of Divinity from Yale. After working for 5 years as an inpatient psychiatric aide, he left to pursue poetry and attended the Iowa Writers Workshop, where he received his MFA.
I lived near a meadow and a farmer named Ed Temple in Putney, right on the border of Westminster West and Putney. And Ed loves to mow at night. I've heard that a lot of Vermont farmers actually do love to mow at night, and I'm not sure why, because it's dewy, but there must be something kind of mystical about it. Night mowing. And so I can hear this tractor down below in the meadow keeping me up but putting me to sleep at the same time. I'm waking, sleeping as I listen to this old farmall. I remember the drone of Francis Temple's farmall mowing in the dark of a mid-September night. Its deep, desultory blasts were also guttural, half motor, half cat.
I'd like to introduce some of the other members of the audience. Could you please stand when your name is called? Thomas Bishop, government videographer. Leah Torrey, United Valley Interfaith Project. Frank Dapril, producer. Macy Lawrence, Woodstock Community Television Executive Director. Keith Droll, Claremont Public Access Television Executive Director. Patrick Cody, Ludlow Public Access Executive Director. Tony Mavicki, producer. Eric Shatterley, government videographer. Bettina Reed, board chair at Heartland Elementary School. Sydney Reed, Heartland Elementary student. Jack Spinilla, producer. Hal Jones and his wife Imelda, producer. And last but not least, Graham Robinson, producer. I would like to thank you all for joining us at the CATV celebration of producers. Now, here are Sophie and Bob with the CATV Awards presentations.
First of all, don't go away, you two. I would like to thank these two very much. This is a lot of pressure. They did a great job, and I know I would be more nervous than you will ever be on here. I want to give them a round of applause for a fantastic. I want to know the first thing I had to do today is stop at Dunkin' Donuts for caramel lattes. And anyway, I got a couple rolls of soup for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And anyway, thank you. And now the awards ceremony, I'd like to have you two stay up and help us with the awards. Fine. And we do have some more flowers to give. Let's start with the education awards if they're up here. And the first award goes to, so what happened? They get a plaque on the wall, and it shows on the wall for eternity. The first award goes to SAU 88. Diane, come on up. Thank you very much. We have a tie for the Education Award. Could all the Heartland students in here come on up? Jacob? So for the third year in a row, the Heartland Elementary School has won the Education Award, and I thought, since the principal had the community forum today, I thought what better to present it to the Heartland students who are here, who make this program go. We have about 22 students in Heartland. We go down there Monday and Thursdays for an hour. They're working on the third broadcast news. And Sydney and Sophia have won the Halloween-a-thon, the music video contest. I won't put pressure on you, but if you win the 48-hour film slam, you'll be the first one to win all three events in 1 year. I don't want to put pressure on you, though. Anyway, so I think we do a seventh, we got two seventh graders right here, and eighth graders. So it's really great, and I'll present this to Heartland, and I don't know who wants to take it. I guess what you two announced it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have the Adult Producer Award, and this is a very special award. We do a lot of work with kids in schools, but we also really value our adult producers, and we want to let you know that. This year, our adult producer is Adam Steinberg. He's not here this evening, but he produces this amazing yoga show. It's called Yoga to Go with Adam, and it's right here. And he's brought, I think, upwards of 8. We've had 8 yogis in the studio before, doing vinyasa yoga, and it's pretty amazing. So, Adam, wherever you are, you won this award, and we'll receive the plaque shortly. So.
We have an organizational award. This award, annual award, thank you very much, is given to a notable community partner whose involvement have enabled us to reach a wider audience. And it goes to this year to United Valley Interfaith Project. Leah, you want to come get this?
I just want to, just to follow up with what Bob's saying, I've had the privilege to work with Leah on this it's called Take Another Look, and we actually have a couple of youth filmmakers who participated in this project, and Allegra Harvard is one of them, and Jack Spinella over here is also another one. And these are multimedia.
Claire.
And Claire, where's Claire? Here,
Right
I'm so
here.
sorry. Claire, absolutely, so we have our 3 filmmakers, which is so cool. Way cooler than I thought. So it's a multimedia art exhibit that's going to be showing at Open Door Studio in White River Junction this first Friday. What it is a visual representation of stories, the aging landscape in the Upper Valley. So we've gone out and interviewed senior citizens about what it's like to age with dignity here in the Upper Valley, what's missing, what's here, what's lacking in the services, or what are the benefits. And so these filmmakers have put together these really thoughtful, thought-provoking, touching portraits. And so if you have time, please come this Friday, 5:30, the doors are open. Again, that's at the Open Door Studio in White River. And really hope you can be there. But we will also have them up on Vimeo for you to see as well. So thank you so much, Leah. Okay, so this is a new award. It's called the CATV Rookie of the Year Award. Really excited about this one. And it goes to Mike Schumann for his really informative, engaging show, Show Me the Money. You do such amazing work. You're so committed and devoted. And we want to let you know that we really value your support. Thank you so much.
Next award, he wasn't here, so, but he is well-deserved. He was a video camper since 7th and 8th grade. He became a counselor during high school years. He's still coming back to be a video camp counselor. He has won some of our video contests. He's now a freshman at Dartmouth College, and he came back in the fall to do training for our Halloween-a-thon. So he's really, really dedicated. And if you give a loud applause to show Owen O'Leary, we'll hear you at Hanover.
So our Government Achievement Award. And James, the work that you do and the work of all our government radiographers, and especially the work that you do in connecting us with Hartford, and the important, as we talked about, the importance of transparency. And we need to be able to be there. Our equipment needs to be working. We need to have good community relationships with those people. So really, thank you so, so very much. Come on up.
When I first started CATV in 1993, one of the things I had to do was government meetings. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I needed to stay awake, it'd be a challenge. But they are necessary, and their transparency. And thank goodness for our government videographers that even though we pay them, sometimes I wonder with some of these towns if we paid them enough. There are certain towns that our ratings improve, and there are certain towns that have it all together. I'm not going to mention any towns. But I really appreciate all the government videographers that we have here. And, you know, it's really interesting that we have stuff on video demand, and every time you read the Valley News, we looked at CATV's video demand to find out what happened. And Dylan, who's our government videographer, does a great job putting stuff on video demand, also puts on archive.org, and we don't tell anybody. But in 3 months, we have 25,000 downloads of our Valley government meetings on archive.org. So that's amazing. So we'd like to thank all our government videographers, but the one we chose this year who represents all of them is Thomas Bishop. So, 9 years ago, we had a person from Heartland Elementary School named Judy Callens, who was then the principal of Heartland Elementary, talked to someone said, you know what, you need to join the CATV Board of Directors. Immediately he did, and she resigned a year later and left him because of, not to continue, he just need other things to do. And he's been on our board for 9 years. And he's shown outstanding leadership, given great direction for CATV. Not in CATV, not like our federal government, we have term limits. And, unless you're a president, of course. But anyways, without his leadership, without his direction, and without his support, and I know I can say this to all CATV staff, CATV would not be where it is today. So, Rob, come on up. So what we have 2 awards here for you. We've created a thing called a Wall of Fame. You're our first Wall of Fame member. Someone we can look up to. And we've also given you a gift certificate to Salt Hill. I think that's it for 2016. So I'd really like to thank everybody for coming. This is the biggest we ever had. It's great to see everybody here. We filled the studio. Don't tell our landlord. But we filled the studio. It's great having, and I really want to again thank Sophia and Kier for such a fantastic job they did being hosts. I could not have asked for anybody better to do this. You guys are perfect for it. Thank you very much. And you will be giving a DVD so you can watch over and over again. Anyways, we are going to have our exciting annual meeting after this. You'd like to stay around and watch this. We also, people who are interested in being on our board of directors, I'm sure you'd like to show interest. Another member who could not make it today, but we're going to honor him at the April meeting, is Paul Boucher, who's our treasurer. He's actually retiring as the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce director, and he felt he couldn't stay on he felt it was only appropriate that the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce appoint someone in his place. So I think even though he's down in Claremont right now, if we give another round of applause, he'll hear us down there. And Paul also will be in our Wall of Fame too. Yeah, but he'll be looking up at you too. Thank you very much, and thank you for the 3 other public access stations that came today too. I really appreciate that. And Macy, don't leave without your wireless mic. Thank you very much.
And I just want to say one more thing. Just the mastermind behind this night and a lot of what we do here at CATV, Bob Franzoni, you definitely deserve a huge round of applause.